Most people quit. As unfortunate as that sounds, most people bury themselves in overwhelm. They lack direction and they lack implementation. The thing that differentiates the most successful people from the dreamers or the fakepreneurs is that the successful ones know how to take a vision and implement it. And although this may not sound like rocket science, it is actually the habit of consistently implementing, consistently turning your thought into an intention, and the intention becomes an action. And therefore, the results that we produce as entrepreneurs are not random and they're not luck. They're actually the result of your work, your thoughts, your intentions coming to life. Now, the dreamers and the fakepreneurs, they don't take enough action. They don't trust themselves and they don't have the courage. Now, it can be learned and it can be taught, having courage, taking action, creating a vision, living with intention. Those things can be learned, but some people stop and quit. Actually, most people. And that's the thing, is that if it were easy, everyone would be successful, but everyone's not. And so that's why I love to study Olympic athletes or well-known entrepreneurs and thought leaders, the best of the best. What is different about them? Study their lives, study their biographies, what they went through, their mental state, and you will notice differences right away. You will notice how that person thinks differently, acts differently. And what you have to do is begin to adopt those qualities that you see in very high-performing individuals. And I believe that is something I'm extremely fascinated with, and something that I'm striving for is to be an individual who's a high performer. And in my own life, I feel that there have been many glimpses of that kind of high performance. I was always able to make quick decisions and to know that stalling is simply a waste of time. It's like, I used to play tennis actually, and our coach would say it's no man's land. There was a zone where it was called no man's land. You're either when you're playing doubles, you're either at the net and you're popping those babies at the net, or you're going long, right, at the back of the court. And if you're in no man's land, you're in no man's land. It means you can't pop them at the net and you can't go long. So let's bring it back down to work and life. Are you in that kind of zone of you're doing neither? You're kind of a dreamer, you're kind of in the corporate world or in some other, are you kind of, one foot in all these different areas? Or, I know people who have 25 plan Bs, you know what I mean? Like all these random maybe plans, but there's no actual plan A. There's no focus. It's just having sprinkled thoughts in multiple different places. So I'm challenging you in this video to really think about yourself in the areas where have you been a high performer? Have you been able to make decisions quickly and effectively, and not play in that no man's land area? When I was in the in jobs that I didn't like, it didn't take me long to know my future wasn't there. And it didn't take me long to make a decision either. So what I want you to think about is how many opportunities you have. So if you're sitting there and you're like, well, Susie, good for you. You were able to quit, but I have kids, I have a mortgage. Yeah, guess what? I did too. you know, but I always saw options. I always saw other ways. For example, why don't you get a smaller house? You know, why don't you rent for a year? Why don't you sell some of the stuff you have in your house? You know, maybe stop watching TV, or maybe stop, you know, doing some other thing, or you know, like there's always options. There's things in your life that you can shift, that you can change and edit and kind of remodel or rework it. Part of the reason that I was able to start my own business is because we were living below our means. My husband and I, we were not, you know, even though we qualified financially for a large loan for a big house, we ended up taking something small. We bought a house that was kind of in the country. Our mortgage payments were like $800. It wasn't very expensive. So it was easier for us to play around with the idea of entrepreneurship when we weren't buried under huge bills and mortgage payments. And even though now we live in a house that's bigger, that was a gradual decision, you know? And so decide what's the most important for you. Is it a huge house and being trapped in some job you hate, being house poor? You know, not a house you hate or a job you hate, but like the lifestyle, is that not what you want? So look at all the elements around you. There is always another way. I really believe that. There's always another way. So look for your options. Don't be someone who's sitting around and waiting for some miracle, magic pill, win the lottery, wait for some Prince Charming. There's not enough time to sit and wait. You be the action taker. You be the driving force. All right? So take those thoughts. Begin here in your mind. Craft the thoughts, craft the vision of what you want, create intention, truly act, and take what's in your mind and begin putting it into action, and you will see your life change. So I hope that was helpful. I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye for now.
The sun might be shining just a little more bright. I think the stars might be